All right, today we are diving deep into one of the most absolutely mind-bending ideas in all of modern physics. It's called the holographic principle, and it's a theory that suggests our entire reality might just be an elaborate illusion. So let's just jump right to the heart of it. That three-dimensional world you see all around you, with depth and substance and volume, what if it's all just a grand projection? I know, it sounds wild, but this isn't science fiction. It's a question that some of the world's top physicists have been wrestling with for decades.
Okay, the best way to wrap your head around this is with a pretty cool analogy. Picture our universe as a movie. But here's the twist. Instead of the movie being projected onto a 2D screen, our entire 3D reality is being projected from a flat 2D surface that surrounds us. We're literally living inside the movie. So let's actually unpack this idea of a cosmic hologram. What's the real science behind this crazy-sounding concept? Okay, so here's the core of it. The holographic principle says that all the information needed to describe a 3D volume of space, everything, every particle, every galaxy, you, me, can be completely written down on a two-dimensional surface that encloses that space. It's kind of like how that little 2D hologram on your credit card has all the info to create a 3D image. Let's just put this side by side to make it super clear. What we see and feel is a rich 3D world. You can move up, down, left, right, forward, back. But what might actually be real, the fundamental reality, could just be data, pure information like ones and zeros, encoded on some distant flat boundary. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds like it was ripped straight out of a movie script, right? But believe it or not, this idea didn't come from Hollywood. It came from studying the weirdest, most mysterious things in the entire universe: black holes.
Yup. It all started with a huge puzzle, a paradox that just didn't make sense. When physicists like Leonard Susskind and Gerard Anthoft were studying black holes, they found something shocking. The amount of information a black hole can hold doesn't depend on its 3D volume, as you'd expect. It depends on its 2D surface area. That was a massive clue that our understanding of space was seriously flawed. And that clue led to an absolute game changer. The most powerful piece of evidence for this whole idea is something called the ADS/CFT correspondence. I know, it's a mouthful, but don't let the name scare you. You can just think of it as a kind of Rosetta Stone for physics. It's this incredible mathematical model that finally gave us a concrete way to explore these ideas. And this duality is where it gets really wild. On one side, you have the bulk. That's the 3D movie we think we're living in, complete with gravity and space-time. On the other side, you have the boundary, a flat 2D surface with just quantum particles and, get this, no gravity at all. And here's the bombshell. The math proves these two descriptions are perfectly equivalent. They're just two different languages describing the exact same thing. So what does that even mean? Well, the implications are just staggering. If a world with gravity is identical to a world without it, that suggests gravity, and maybe even space-time itself, isn't a fundamental part of reality. Instead, it could just be an emergent property, something that arises from the complex interactions of pure information on that distant 2D boundary. But, and in physics, there's almost always a but, there is a catch. As powerful as this mathematical model is, it doesn't quite match the universe we actually live in. And that leads us to a huge puzzle. So here's the problem. All this amazing math works perfectly in a specific type of theoretical universe called anti-de Sitter space. You can picture it as being nice and contained with a stable, predictable boundary. But the universe we live in, well, it seems to be a de Sitter universe. It's expanding, accelerating, and frankly, it's messy. Trying to get the holographic math to work in our kind of universe is one of the biggest unsolved problems in physics today. So that leaves physicists with this enormous, open question. Does this beautiful, elegant idea of a hologram just break when you try to apply it to the real world? Or are we just missing one crucial piece of the puzzle that will finally make everything click? The race is on to find out. Okay, so for a moment, let's just put that puzzle on the shelf. Let's run with it. Let's assume the theory is right. What would it actually mean for us if reality truly is a projection? Well, for starters, our whole concept of distance, of locality, might be an illusion. Think about it. 2 points that seem light years apart in our 3D projection could actually be right next to each other as bits of information on that 2D boundary. And
it gets weirder. What about cause and effect? That simple, orderly flow of time we experience. A causes B, which causes C. That might just be a feature of the 3D illusion. On the fundamental 2D screen, the rules could be totally different, maybe even blurring the lines between past, present, and future.
And this, of course, brings us to the deepest question of all. If we're part of the projection, what is consciousness? Is your mind, your sense of self, your awareness, is it all just an incredibly complex computation running on that boundary screen?
Ultimately, this is where the theory takes us. It suggests that the universe, at its most fundamental level, isn't made of matter and energy. It's made of information, bits. It essentially blurs the line completely between physics and information theory, suggesting the cosmos is basically a giant quantum computer.
Now, if your mind is buzzing with all this and you want to dive even deeper, here are some fantastic places to start. The Black Hole War by Leonard Susskind is an amazing read about the origin of these ideas. And for the really adventurous, you can even find resources online to play around with simulating some of these principles yourself. So when you boil it all down, the science is pointing towards this incredible possibility that our universe is just a complex projection of a much simpler, flatter reality. Which leaves us with one final lingering question to chew on. If our universe is a hologram, who or what built the projector?